Now, how's everybody doing? How's your mindset? How was your weekend? What are you up to this week? You can put it in the chat or you can just unmute and talk to me. I'm talking to you.
I had a good weekend. Good, good.
I'm glad to hear that since I took up so much of your time. That's
And
really
chicken.
good. Um,
That is correct.
that is correct. And and just not to leave everybody in the dark because a formal announcement is coming, but Kathy has accepted the role at Lady Boss Alliance of our communications manager, right? And liaison. She laughed so hard when I said to her, I said, Kathy, I made a discovery last year that as much as I talk, I don't communicate. So yeah, that can actually happen, right? Just talk, 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 and don't communicate anything. My husband swears he knows nothing about me unless I'm talking to Amaya, and he happens to overhear it, right? So we're really excited about that, and we were building on that a lot this weekend. So that's the reference. Who else?
We had a family birthday party yesterday. My ex-husband and his wife were there. It was good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your husband, wait,
My
your ex
ex-husband.
and his wife.
Yes.
Now you're in my world, girl, right? Isn't it a beautiful thing,
Yeah, it
right?
is. It's good.
Yeah. That's right. Break up those norms. That's one heck of a mindset. When you can break up norms, right? Ego-based created norms that she's not supposed to like her husband's ex-wife, new wife, right? Because she's the ex. And Sue, that's amazing. I know you have that type of capacity, right? And you enlarge the capacity in others everywhere you go. So cool. Is that Heather Woodman? What? Heather, be safe. I want you, before we move on, to just share about igniting purpose coming up, kicking off today.
Okay, hi. I'm safe, I promise. But I'm not looking at you. Oh, oh,
Okay, it's a little wonky. Maybe we'll have Brianna share about it and you just be safe out there and then she can put the link
okay.
in the chat. Yeah, let's do that. Bree, you mind sharing about that?
Absolutely. Heather is hosting and sponsoring a beautiful event this entire week. And now I have an echo on my side. This entire week. And now I have an echo on my Okay, I think that fixed it. Thank you.
Yeah.
So yes, Heather Woodman is hosting and sponsoring a really beautiful event this week, Igniting Purpose. And she has a lineup of these amazing women every day this week, from Monday through Friday, talking about just that, igniting your purpose in this world. So I will grab the link to the event website that's got all of the information about the lineup, who's going to be there, what they're talking about, but most importantly, how you can get yourself in that room because it's totally free. So if you want to light yourself up, ignite your purpose, please join us this week, Monday through Friday.
Yep. And I just love it too. What the way she's created it is so that it works in your life. It's like, none of us have time for day-long events anymore. So every day it's just, three powerful hours, like 90 minutes, right? Heather, you can give a nod, right?
It's
And
9 minutes.
it's how many? 90 minutes,
90
right?
minutes. So
Yep.
two speakers every day, just 90 minutes. Bree is on Thursday. Dr. Carey is on Friday. Um, and every day is about how we do this in our everyday lives.
Yep.
So it's going to be awesome. I know
It's
Sue
gonna be
signed
awesome.
up, so yay.
Thanks, Heather.
Thank you. So excited.
Okay, so are you ready for Mindset Monday? Because I want to talk to you about the wonderful world of us, right? And I read this book, oh my gosh, I think it was in the early 2000s, and it was written by Jean Houston. And Jean herself was inspired by Joseph Campbell. If you're not familiar with his work, it is a wonderful body of work. I highly recommend it, especially if you're an existential, ontological, social observer like I am, right? Just fascinated with humanity. So I put this together and I actually delivered this at a church in North Carolina back in, I think it was 2013. And man, they got upset with me. I remember. I remember they were, is she ever going to open the Bible? Right? And I did, right? But I thought it was interesting because what I saw was this is an equation, a parable, if you will, that could really minister to people. And the reason why I brought it back and also fixed up the PowerPoint, my universities um, um, has these tools. So when you get your doctorate, you have access to what's called the Universal Database of Knowledge, right? And they've got all these tools and stuff that's in there that I get to create really cool things with. And I'm pretty sure they're using advanced AI in it now. So that's like, I was like, oh, look at this, the colors, right? It's amazing. And so I wanted to go back because I know I'm coming out of a season where I feel like I've just been in a storm, right? And in that storm, I could just feel myself. I grew up in the Midwest, so I'm very familiar with tornadoes. Matter of fact, I outran one on the Detroit River once in my husband's boat. Well, I guess it was ours, right? But he was on it more than I was. And I just still remember it coming up the Detroit River, whipping. And I looked at him and he was like this. And I'm like, move, right? Because my babies were down below. We got to get to safety. And what tornadoes do in those kind of storms, right? They pick up everything in its path. And there's nowhere to anchor, no way to anchor yourself. And so you're just kind of grabbing. And then inside of it is just like paper and trash and other people. Think about it, right? Because whether we realize it or not, we're all in a storm right now. So hopefully everyone has the sheet. We're in a collective storm. We're transitioning, and it feels like we're in it individually. But here is again what I would tell you as a Midwestern girl, right? No one is ever in the storm alone. We're always in it together. And we just haven't learned how to look beyond that, right? And see that we can all quiet the storm together. So I want to start with one question. Where in your life are you still living in your version of Kansas? The place that is turbulent, you don't feel like you quite fit in. You definitely don't feel like you're enough there. You don't belong there, right? It's like you're discontent. And feeling discontent is not a defeat. It's not a defect. It's not a downer. It's a signal. And I personally was missing the signals. I had that encounter this whole past month, April. And I know a lot of it carried the weight of grief. It's like my parents' anniversary is the 7th. My mother's birthday would have been the 14th. My baby sister's birthday would have been the 20th. My nephew's birthday would have been the 25th. I mean, it was like it was just there, and now somebody called yesterday, one of the kids, and they were like, "What do you want to do for Mother's Day?" And I was like, "Mother's Day is coming." It's my first Mother's Day without my mother. And I was like, can't we just ignore it? but I'm not the only mom in this family, right? You see what I'm saying? It's not just about me. My mother-in-law has Alzheimer's. She's not doing very well. And the other mother in our family, her mother has challenges. Like there's a lot going on, and we're all in this tornado together, right? And it will cause you to miss signals. So just think about that. Your catalyst, your transform port. We don't volunteer for change. We get swept into it. That day when we were out on the river, man, it was so nice. The sun was shining. And if you know anything about Midwestern storms, they come up suddenly. Same in like Texas, just out of nowhere. Everything is fine. And next thing you know, your flight is canceled, right? And it's like that. So we don't volunteer for change. We get swept into it. The storm isn't a punishment. It's the universe's way, God's way of saying, you weren't listening, you didn't move, you didn't hear the signal, but that's okay, I got you. See, if we look at it like, oh, look what's happening to me, we'll miss what's happening for us, right? And that it came to move us out of what's familiar and comfortable into the biggest seasons of our lives. We grow, we contribute, we move on, we succeed. Now, the yellow brick road, it represents that journey, right? And here's the case for a lot of us, I know especially for me, I can tell I'm on a journey. I've been on one for the last few years, like a new journey. And it's one of ascension. And along the way, you start to wonder, like, okay, well, what do I keep? Who am I? Like, you start looking at yourself and it's like, am I my former self, my little girl self? Why are you asking these questions? Because you don't realize it sometimes how much you've evolved, how much you've grown past who you used to be, your ego, your fears, your concerns, but yet this bridge into the new world or the new you is still challenging you with questions, right? And so on that road, like Dorothy, she thought she was meeting up some friends, and instead, what she was doing was just meeting along the way reflections of herself. Because the road doesn't lead you to someplace new. It leads you to someplace you declare. It leads you to a you that is part of the journey, that created the journey, that manifested the journey. The road takes you to your powerful self, your most capable self. The road is required because reflection and confrontation of who you are is required. How many of you saw The Wizard of Oz? I'm always surprised. Every once in a while, there's somebody that didn't see it, right? I saw it for the first time when I was 10 years old. That is not a kid's movie. My husband and I were talking. It was like, why did they have us watching that? I couldn't sleep for like a month after the Flying Monkeys, right? So it's a little bit traumatic. But do you remember at the point when you started looking at the scarecrow and it's like, he has all of the ideas, all of the strategies, right? He's on this journey because he wants to see the wizard so he can get a brain. Yet he was the one that came up with all of the solutions every time. So look at yourself. You've been using your mind all along, but what are you using it for? You were never without it. What I've discovered, what I've observed with humanity is that a lot of what people use their mind for is to hide everything, to survive everything that they're afraid of, to dress it up and hide behind it, just like he was doing. Did you notice that? It was like until he had credentials, right? He was like, I'm nobody. I'm just going to be here on this pole. So, how many of you deal with occasions where it's like, I don't know enough, I'm not smart enough? Who's brave enough to talk to me about it? If you're brave enough to talk to me about it, unmute. You don't feel smart enough. You didn't finish a diploma
Yeah,
or
that's
something.
that's kind of my gig.
That's your gig?
Yeah.
Okay. And what comes up for you in use of your brain when that happens? What do you do?
What
How do you
comes
respond?
up for me and used to my brain? That there's not enough knowledge inside of it, that I'm a fake, that I shouldn't be where I'm at because I don't know enough.
Okay, so let me say this differently, right? So that's what comes up, and then your brain responds to it. And it does what? It has you, would you start seeking knowledge and information, or do you masquerade, delay, procrastinate,
How about
poke
all of the
holes at
above?
stuff? See, this is what I do. If I don't get something, I go, that's dumb. It's kind of like that, right? You get it? So what's one thing you do?
No, I all of the above. Everything you said, I'm guilty of.
Right? Start swinging at it.
Yeah, I'll
Right?
get mad, I'll get sad, I'll close up, I'll go on overdrive and figure everything out, then I'll just give up because I don't know anything. I'll poke the holes, I'll seal the holes, like all of it.
Right. You know what? And all of that, thanks, Bree. Thank you so much. Now, that was real, like she's contributing. Hopefully, you all can see something, some semblance over there with yourselves, right? When the scarecrow is on the road and he's doing that, like it's nuts, right? How much he is doing the work, strategizing, using his mind to get somewhere, to get what he has already. He doesn't feel confident to come up with that, whatever he said there, that formula at the end, right? Until he has a document in his hand. Diplomas. I've got a few. You're all welcome to them. Because no matter what I achieved or how much I expanded in knowledge, there was still that whole thing of what I didn't know. And what I want to inspire in you today is that everything that you know is enough. Everything that you know already is enough. Knowledge, information, all of that reveals itself in the wake of it's needed now. It actually will come to you if you just trust. What about the Tin Man? They had to tell him to stop crying because they didn't have his oil can. Remember that? He feared he had no heart, yet he was the one that cried when they took Dorothy. He was the one that loved. He was the one that cared deeply for everyone he met along the road. And yet, he couldn't see his capacity to love and feel, right, as his power, that it was already there. And sometimes we think our capacity to love, to feel, to be generous, to be kind, right, is a weakness. And we want to snub it out. And that's when I run even harder and bigger towards it. When we are limiting ourselves with the incorrect thought that we aren't big enough in our own capacity to embrace others, then that means that we aren't embracing ourselves either. You can't give anybody what you don't give yourself. As much as the Tin Man cried, as much as he loved, as much as he felt, You could make the case easily, I have for sure, that there was an aspect of self-loathing there. That's really what kept him stuck in the storm. The storm hit and he froze just like that. And it took people on the journey that he was on the road that he was on, to come along and loosen him up, right? Again, to oil him up, massage him a little bit and get him going. But even in that, he still didn't see himself as worth it. So sometimes the weakness that we're feeling and experiencing is not coming from other people, whether or not it's because we're not loving ourselves enough. I learned that from my coach Amaya, right? How important it is to love yourself. But first, I think it's important that you discover why you don't. I remember how eye-opening it was when I realized that the little girl I had left behind, this one little child part, 7-year-old, she was bullied and teased, like everything, my voice, the size of my foot, like all of it, right? And I morphed, I changed myself into something to survive that. But I thought what I was trying to survive was the external voices, the bullies. And no, it was just how I felt about myself. And I still remember just doing this exercise where I had my eyes closed and I reached behind me and took the little girl that was me by the hand and brought her in front of me to just hold her and to comfort her. I even had a picture of myself at that age. When was the last time you went back to yourself and where you stopped loving yourself and where you started being your own bully and mistreating yourself and not loving yourself? And a lot of what we do is, we change and then we pile all of this stuff on top of us, right? All of this knowledge, this information. Why? Because we're going to go out and we're going to look good. Remember when the Tin Man went through that whole process and he got all like waxed and shined up, and Dorothy got her curls, right? They all got a new look, but nothing had transformed. Any questions or comments so far? All right, let's keep going up the journey. What about the lion? If I only had courage. Who am I to want more? Sometimes it feels that way. And not because we're counting our blessings, but because we don't see ourselves as somebody who can receive them. So the lion believed he had no courage, yet he showed up. He kept showing up again and again and again. And that's all you have to do is show up. That's all. And remember how he came out? He didn't know what to do. He came out and he's like, rah, a lion pretending to be courageous, pretending to be the king of the jungle, but he was the king of the jungle. Right? Do you get it? Are you starting to see it? That we're doing the same things. So we're going to put on a false version of ourselves and come out like some performative robot, and nobody's buying it. Remember, Dorothy was like, shame on you, scaring a little dog. He's like low-hanging fruit, Toto, right? And that's what happens. When you're afraid, you will hurt yourself and others. Just to feel confident, to feel strong, sometimes that's happened. Or we hide out, cower away. Are you not the lioness that I think you are? Cindy Jarvis? I was your coach before. The fact that you even like are still talking to me shows how powerful you are, right? Amazing. So the great reveal, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Remember the wizard? He was just a man trying to find his way home too. I have told people, I'm like, stop running behind every guru, every coach, every program. And it's hilarious because I'm like, am I trying to talk myself out of a job? Right? Yeah, actually, I am. I don't want to sell you any more coaching. I don't want to sell you any more programs. I want to inspire you to come out, to know exactly what was discovered on that road, that you've always had the power. Remember, Glenda said that? Who are the Glendas in your life to remind you that you're enough, that you have enough mind, enough heart, enough courage? I got just a few of the names right there. And they're not just my team, they're my friends. I should have my husband there too. You didn't acquire anything on the road. It's about remembering what was always yours. Sometimes we're not sure about what we should do, what the move is. And that's when you just sit still and just listen and get that sheet out. I hope you guys will keep that sheet. For me, I just start journaling. And I always start with one question. What am I afraid of? What am I afraid of right now? There's a lot to be afraid of. I'm always concerned about my adult children. They're all adults. And guess what, Heather? When they grow up, they don't go away. You just have different concerns. Are you the person in the world that me and your father raised you to be? Why are you dating that person? What do you mean you had a car accident? How come you don't know where your insurance is? When was the last time you had a physical? How's it going on your job? What do you mean you got fired? All of that. Are they safe in the world? What does the future hold? What about grandchildren? Those are on my mind all the time, and yet so are all of you. What am I going to cook today? Is it healthy or is it going to hurt us? My husband drives to work 1 hour and back 1 hour. In those 2 hours, is he safe? Those things are on my mind all of the time. And you have things like that on your mind all the time. And they push us down and we stick because we can't figure it out. And then we begin to close our hearts. And then we begin to shrink back. And for one reason, fear makes you small. That's what makes us play small. It's what we're afraid of on the road. And I've got people, like sometimes I'm so mad at them. I think Amaya is like the only person I can't ever remember being mad at her, like ever. Was it one time? No, it wasn't.
I won't say you were mad at me, but you and Reggie with that dang on ILP question that y'all had that I had to pull out my book. Y'all were trying to pull off my head and spit down my neck and everything. Yeah,
Well, and I enrolled Reggie in it.
I know.
I won her over to my point of view, right? I was being right about
Uh,
something, right?
uh-huh.
And what it
Uh-huh.
was is I didn't want to do it,
I know.
right?
I know.
I didn't want to do it. So I caused like this whole thing and was going to take on the whole Landmark
Hmm.
company, arguing a point in a book. And then remember that moment when Reggie read it? She was like,
I was like, go to page such and such. And it was so cute. This look, and you can't be mad at people when they do this, right? She read it, and both her and Carrie were like, "Oh, it is in there."
I was like,
Oh,
I'm so wrong,
I know.
right?
It was so fun. But you guys, as soon as you got the information that clarified something, everything disappeared. You didn't use your ego to go, well, they should have had it. But you didn't do it. You just were like, oh shoot, we just got handed,
Right.
and it was good. It
You
was
have to
all
just
good.
admit it. That's how you get seriously like, wow, that was me. Yeah, I did that. Yeah, I'm wrong,
It was funny.
right?
It was funny.
And I was able to see why I was doing that. I didn't want to do what they were asking me to do, right? Why? Because I didn't think I was enough to do it. It never occurred to me at that time, because that's maybe, gosh, that's like 10 years ago, close to it. And I was definitely on a transformational path. And that moment right there was so eye-opening. It really was. Thanks for even remembering that, because I remember realizing, like, no, you're just afraid. And I was afraid because I couldn't hide behind my diplomas, my persona. The masquerade wasn't going to cut it. And some of you, that's what you're being required to do right now, is to drop it. You want to receive things on a higher level, and they're not coming, because it's not whether you're enough, it's whether you're in the frequency of that thing. And our masquerades, our pretenses, and everything that we use to hold ourselves up so that we feel smart enough, big enough, capacity, heart, and courageous enough, right? It can't go to the new world. That whole way of being has expired. And what's happening right now on the planet is a great divide. I'm talking to you today. I see you nodding, Cindy. I took that like an amen. There's a big divide happening. And you're being asked to let go of the old world. It's being caught up in a storm, and it looks like a bad economy, a down economy, not enough money. So let me go find more. And there's something bigger than us that's saying all of those things that you're in pursuit of have expired. There's a new way. Manifestation is happening faster. You can't achieve it on the smart rat level, scurrying about, sniffing out in the maze like they trained us to do, making everything in your path wrong. I was ridiculous that day. And all fairness to Reggie, honestly, she was the first one I caught just going off and enrolled her in it. She probably wouldn't have said, then we get Amaya on, our head coach. Because no matter where we are, whether we're in our victories or our defeats, we always want somebody with us. So where are you taking people? Are you taking them into possibility? Or are you taking them into the old world to be left behind in a move that is going off with or without you? You don't want to miss it. This is the time that the ancients have been speaking about for thousands of years. There's going to be a rise in humanity, a rapture. A new world is happening right now. And those upsets that you're feeling, those signals that you're getting are telling you that you're going to play a role in that. And it is scary. But where is your Amaya, your Angie, your Andrea, your Kristen? That's my Peach. Where's your Kathy, your Dawn, your Carla, your Janita, your Leslie? And everybody needs an Amaya. Everybody needs that one friend that's like Glenda, that is ahead of you in the journey, can't interrupt the journey, can't shortcut your process, but is there whispering in your ear, helping to shape your mindset. Look at Dorothy, how her eyes are closed, and she's telling her, there's no place like home. That's who you want to surround yourself with, those that lift you higher, those that can see you as the powerful leader you are and know that you just have a moment. You're having a moment. Instead of running from you, they run to you. Surround yourself with that. And be that. I want to be that for you. Hopefully that's what I'm doing right now. Whispering in your ear, Brianna, I got you. Sue, I got you. Heather, I don't even know where you are in the world. I got you. Kathy, you got me, and I got you. Audra, I got you, and you got me. Kristen sure in the heck got me, and I got her. I got all of you. What? Carla's here? Carla, you missed the part where your name, right? I got you. So click your heels. This is the wonderful life that you came here to live. Don't reduce your life down to dollars and cents. That's some way we've been shaped to think. Carla, I'm glad she came on because I've watched this girl perform miracles. Miracles. Taking care of her mother-in-law and walking her home. That's the title of her book that's coming up. And she paid a price for it. She had a thriving business. The business went down. I know a lot about that. While she focused on her mother-in-law. And then it resulted in her and her husband, having to leave their home. She lost everything. And yet she tapped into something bigger. She showed up at Higher Love Invocation last year. You wouldn't have known for a minute that she was dealing with all the things that she was dealing with, because that's somebody that knows how to bend and flex in the storm. And that's what it is. We have to learn how to flow with it. I'm sure many of you have heard this before, that the reason why many drunk drivers walk away from a major crash, they kill everybody in the car, both cars, whoever's involved, and they walk away, is because upon impact, they were like this because they were intoxicated. I want to inspire you to be intoxicated by life in the storm, to be intoxicated by love. I want to inspire you to take every I'm not enough conversation that you have with yourself, pour it out on that sheet, and then call someone, tell someone what you're dealing with and what you need. This weekend, my husband helped sort out all of my projects and everything, and then he started working on what I need. And that led to me reaching out to Kathy, hiring Jackie, making some moves, some decisions. And you know what was key there? I asked for help. So the power, it's never out there. That's what I want you to embrace. And the life that you have, fully inhabited, fully owned, is the wonderful one. Own it all. I don't know. I looked at Dorothy's place all in black and white. I wasn't excited about it either, right? But look at how she couldn't wait to get back there. She discovered there was something to appreciate. So you are enough right now. Your journey is your teacher, and home is who you've always been. You, the real you, the real you. And here's something that's really important to embrace. Chris and Lena helped me see this. I love people so much, right? I really do. I always have. And I have altered myself, rearranged myself, right? And still discovered it's not enough, no matter what. And I was talking to my husband about it. And I said, why are people uncomfortable around me? And I've talked to Amaya about it, and like, why are people uncomfortable around me? I talked to Leslie Householder about it, Dawn Norton. Leslie Householder said this. She said, when a person meets you, she said, first of all, nobody in the world looks like you. My sister did. And she said, and it's kind of like, what is all of that? I thought that was hilarious. But what it all comes down to is one thing, how self-actualized I am. And I remember crying and crying a lot because I know the price that I paid to be as confident as I am, as self-actualized as I am. And I was talking to my husband and I was crying and I'm like, I was born in a Jim Crow hospital in 1963 with a world waiting for me on the other side of my birth, telling me what I can have and what I cannot have. And it just didn't work for me. I wouldn't accept it. And I can still hear my heart beating and pounding the first time I drove outside the city limits of Detroit, where everybody told me I wasn't safe, or I was going to get hurt. Those were real threats. It was the 70s. But what I wanted in my life was so much bigger than the fear. And he looked at me and he said, you just make it look so easy. And I said, Mike, you went to one event where you had to take our daughter to receive her scholarship from Delta Sigma Theta, a Black sorority, and you were the only white person there. And guys, what I'm saying, it's not about color. Don't go there. This isn't about race. It's about fear. And where we don't move, what we don't do because we're afraid and we're hiding it. But there he is. He can't hide it. He's 6 feet 4 inches tall, blonde, blue-eyed, and he is the only one there. And I said, I do that every day of my life. Every day. And so I'm done apologizing if that looks easy to people. That if who I am and how I've constituted myself by myself, loving others, and refusing to accept that I'm a second-class citizen because they stamp Negro on my birth certificate. My name is Caroline, and it means spirited woman. And I will not play small for one reason: you matter. What I'm called to is love and liberation of humanity. So if I have to always look like a raisin in a bowl of milk in whatever community is inviting me to come and speak and teach, I will do whatever I have to, because you matter. You matter. Humans matter. People matter. But here's my request. Don't let me do all of the heavy lifting alone. I'm asking everyone on the live stream, everybody watching the replay, and everybody that's here in our Zoom room today to get out of your own way and to run toward yourself and embrace yourself. And where you need to heal, ask us to help you. When I founded Lady Boss Alliance, I brought my coach along, Amaya. I brought Andrea along, Andrea. I brought her along, Kristen along, Angie. Why? Because we will fight for you, but we won't fight with you for your limitations. And if you fight us, guess what? You're going to be able to keep them. They're yours. But we're here to help you succeed in that business, grow, expand. There's a woman, her name is Faye Jones, and she made this beautiful tie. Handmade it. It's beautiful. It's a necklace. Look at the creativity in a human being. Her gift, her talent. But she was a Detroit police officer for 33 years. Took the career because she was a single mother. And I knew she was a gifted seamstress, designer, creator, right? But she had to choose that because she was a single mother. She had to provide. And she was a really good police officer. If you met her, you wouldn't believe it. She a tiny little thing. And she was a marksman. And so many of us have done what we had to do. We don't have to do that anymore. It really is a new world. It's about forming in your mind a image so powerful and then clicking your heels 3 times and going. And what are those 3 clicks? I'm smart enough. I'm strong enough. I'm brave enough. And if you got somebody whispering in your ear anything other than what corresponds to that, politely ask them to stop talking to you. So I'd love to hear from you now, what you're getting, or if you have any questions. Anybody have anything they want to share? Anything you see? Hi, Danny.
I'll share. I appreciate communities like this, communities that remind us who we are and are willing to fight for that, for each other, and see each other rise up. Like Brianna shared earlier too. I mean, those voices just consume my thoughts a lot of times, and I feel I'm weary from the battling of all of those. So just being able to come into an arena like this just reminds me of what is true. And like you said, to silence the voices, which most of the time are my construct of what I think others are thinking or saying about me, and then there are those that do say things. So it's
For
just kind of
sure.
like zip. And you know, perceptions um, get us. You know, the things that we perceive that are not true affect our perspective in life. And I, unfortunately, you know, a good chunk of my earlier years listened to all of that, and so I think it's amazing to have strong women who are willing to straighten each other's crowns, to remind, you know, us that we're alongside each other in the journey. We can't do each other's journey, but we're alongside. And I appreciate the those that are willing to say like the tough things, you know, because like it's like part of me is like, what's wrong with me,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
kind of a.
Yeah.
So I appreciate this reminder.
Yeah. Danny, thank
Again.
you so much. Thank you. Danny's a good friend. I met Danny the first time after I was um uh gosh, how do I say this? Asked to leave my employment at a church. And Danny was on the other side of that, and one of the first leaders in a church order that I met that actually opened me up again. So I'm so glad you're here with us. I love you. Yeah. And actually her journey is the one that inspired me. I started seeing her taking new actions, like amazing. Hi, Deidre, welcome. I'm so glad you came in the Zoom room. Yeah. I want to hear from someone else. Anybody else want to share? Anybody? So here is who we are at Lady Boss Alliance. BOSS is our acronym for Bridging Opportunities and Sharing Successes. Every last one of you, you have something going of a business or a contribution to humanity. I want to know about them. We want to know about them because what we're building is a community, an ecosystem. See, when I bring people here like Kathy, focused on women over 50, understanding what's happening in their bodies, how to care for it when we go through the changes. She went through the storm of her health and journeyed back from there. She lost 60 pounds, but it's not about the weight. Because my mother had one of those bodies. You gotta love having a mother that's an actual pageant winner, sash, crown, with one of those bodies that can just have babies and no stretch marks. That's my mother. Never got fat. Ah, right? But I was with my mother at the doctor's office when they said, your colon has fused together, and she had to have this ridiculous surgery, all of that. She thought because she didn't gain weight, she was healthy. And Kathy is someone committed to helping people understand it. It's amazing. And I'm using Kathy, not just pitching Kathy, because here's an example of how we're going to operate in this community. Kathy reads books. Remember those? Remember enjoying. Kathy is reading this book that she showed me on Saturday, and it's like an encyclopedia dictionary of like, it's thick. She reads and she reads and she researches and she compiles information and she brings it to humanity. And that's what she's going to be doing with her. That's her work, creating this, understanding what perfume in your home does to you. I woke back up, Kathy, laughing still at perfume elevator. You ever get on the elevator and behind some, yeah, and they lit it up. It was like, geez, what you do is pour the bottle, right? And that's someone that's using their love for reading, their ability to compile information and share it. She's putting that work in that we don't have to do. How many of you are still saying, I know I need to improve my gut health, but I don't have time to learn about gut health? Or I don't have time to learn about why my thyroid doesn't work. Let me just pop this pill. Or I'm in the change and I know my hair is falling out, but I don't have time to find out why or what to do about it. And here in this community, we've got people called to certain things. Brianna Finkel's whole focus is your dream can actually be achieved. You just don't know how to go from the dream to the legacy. But let me help you to chart that path. I don't know how to help you chart that path. I have ideas about once you get there. I'm a synthesizer. I can build and construct anything, right? But that's not my piece. And there's so many talents in our community. And I want all of you to begin to look at yourselves as that piece. I'm going to complete with this because this is an invitation to all of you and everybody listening today to be a part of our community. I have tried so hard to have other communities of women understand we're different, we're distinct, we're not competing with you. We want you to be a part of what we're doing. And I understand it's scary. There's a part of them that finds that very hard to believe. But the more we grow, the more we provide witness that we just all came here together to bridge opportunities, share successes. I want to know if you sell lipstick. I want to know if you sell Tai Chi virtual courses, whatever it is that you do, but it must be in the spirit and service of love to humanity. And I can hear the difference. And if that's the case, be a part of what we're doing, building into the new world. Step up. We've got roles that need filling. We need support. We want to do more. We need help. And we're not going to sit here and act like we have all the answers, all the solutions, all those things. No, we're enough, but we need your measure as well. We need help. So I'm going to put my email address in the chat. Cindy, I saw your email. Thank you. Kathy, I got your email. Thank you. And if you want to be more involved in what we're creating at Lady Boss Alliance, I'd love to have a conversation with you. And that's it. Complete your sheet. When we come back next week, next Monday, I want to hear how you stepped into the space of you, the storm, your journey. You can also email me if you don't want to talk here and let me know how it's going for you. And if you feel stopped, if you feel stuck, if you feel like you can't move, like you need to just talk to somebody about this, we're all here for you. Me, the team, and so many other countless women in the Lady Boss Alliance community. Let's really bridge our opportunities. Let's really share our successes. And that means that we share in the heaviness as well. I love you. Have an extraordinary week, and I'll see you next Monday.
Good
Bye
topic for a Monday. Thank you, guys.
Right?
Thank you.
Deidre, you look so good. Oh my gosh, it's so good to see
Bye,
you.
guys. Love you.
So do
Love
you,
you,
dear.
Carla. Yep.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Carla, I'm Deidre. Email me. Did you grab my email address?
I did.
Okay.
I
All
will
right,
email
great.
you.
Okay.
All
Bye.
right. Bye-bye.